this video, I'm going to show you guys how to program a PowerCode security remote start system key fob to the dealer installed system in your 2000 to 2005 Ford product. Before we step any further into this tutorial, we should probably understand how these Ford security systems work. So all Ford vehicles out of the factory from this era had a PATS system. This is the system that all of your keys and key fobs out of the factory work with. You can tell by having that weird red LED thing at the top of your dashboard that flashes every 2 seconds when the car is off. This right here is an LED that was actually drilled in from the dealer, and if you trace the wires back, it leads to your PowerCode or CodeAlarm module. This module essentially works in parallel with the original PATS system, so your car technically is protected by two individual security systems. That's why you can have one fob for PATS and another fob for PowerCode. In my case, that's exactly what's going on here. Alright, so this is going to be a full program tutorial of the unlock, lock, and alarm function. The remote start is not going to be included because even though it requires a different procedure that I did, the theft light flashes whenever I click the button, signaling that the car thinks it's being broken into. So until I figure out how to program that side, this video is just a dedicated tutorial to the lock, unlock, and alarm system only. You're going to need the correct fob, which I'll show you how to get the right one later in this video, and you're going to need a programmed key. We're going to be doing this video with our hands only. You shouldn't need any screwdrivers. All you got to do is pull out these clips to find your switch that we'll talk about next. In most applications, the only thing you're going to need to remove is the lower dash cover. Now, to remove this cover, you're going to find your parking brake right here and the fuse box. The near left side corner has a clip right about there, if you can see. And then if you come up to the steering wheel, there's a clip right there. It might not be rusted like that, but you'll see the hole in the plastic. This is on the left side of the steering wheel for reference. There's your fuse box. Come to the right side of the steering wheel, right where the OBD2 port is, and then look to your right underneath. There's going to be a clip right there, and those are all three clips, along with that light back there. As you can see, you just twist that, it'll twist right out. It's not that big of a deal. Just don't do it while it's on because it gets really hot. And that panel should drop. You should see everything you need to see. Right here we have the ignition override switch. This thing can be anywhere under the dashboard. The biggest issue is this is a dealer installed security system, so they can hide this wherever they need to. The reason they have to hide this is from thieves who are trying to break into your car can use this to start it. You're going to need this to program your remote start fob later. The best bet at finding it is to unclip this panel underneath the dashboard, find the middle connector on your PowerCode module, and trace the two brown wires that are right next to each other. That'll lead you to the switch. It took me about an hour to find this little thing, so best of luck on that one. When you take that panel off underneath your dashboard, you can't miss your security module. It's this big black box that says PowerCode on it or CodeAlarm on it. I'll put a picture on the screen right now about what it looks like for all you guys wondering. You're going to need to locate the box, not because you need to press any buttons, but you need to locate it to see which kind of fob you actually need to buy. Once you locate the actual module itself, it's usually just held in there with zip ties that you can cut, and hold the thing, drop it in front of the pedals, and look around it on all four sides. On the front half, it'll say PowerCode Security System, and on the back, it'll have a huge label with wiring diagrams, and at the bottom right or bottom left, it'll say FCC ID. That's the frequency number that each key fob goes by. You must match up this FCC ID with whatever fob you plan to buy. If you buy a fob with a different FCC ID, it's not going to bind to the system because the antenna can't read its signal. Now, after you find this, you'll notice that the first three letters usually start with GOH, so that's how you tell if you're actually looking at the FCC ID number. Now to get this fob programmed, the first step you're going to want to do is make sure your driver's side door is open. After you have that open, place your key into the ignition switch and turn it towards the on position. This is the one where you hear your fuel pump prime, but the car doesn't actually start. Just like that. Okay, so I'm actually upside down under the dashboard right now. The next step is to find your security or valet switch and hold the button down for 15 seconds. Alright, I'm holding it down now. We'll see if it makes a noise. What you're looking for is the car to beep 3 times. It's pretty loud, you can't miss it. That's how you know it's in program mode. As you just heard, it beeped 3 times. Let go of the switch after that. Alright, and the last thing you gotta do is press the lock button on your key fob, right there. You're gonna hear the car beep once. The only reason I'm not doing it is because I actually binded this fob in this exact same way to the car already, and I'm not trying to have to scroll through the menu. You'll find that out in the owner's manual. There's a whole menu system. You can scroll through it with this lock button, whatever. Point is, hit that button, your car will beep once, then take your key, turn the car off, your key fob's now binded, and the car is out of program mode. You're ready to roll to unlock and lock your car, and also use the alarm system. Let's say you followed the steps perfectly, you bought the correct fob, and you hit the lock button, but you got nothing. The horn didn't beep, nothing happened. Well, you have one of 2 issues. Either A, you bought the wrong fob, which is highly possible actually, or B, this dipole antenna right here is having a connection issue. The antenna itself could be bad, or it could have an issue with the wire that runs on top of your windshield, plugging into the module underneath your dashboard. The reason that having the wrong fob can be highly possible is a lot of times, even though you match up the FCC ID number, there's still a second key fob with that same FCC that you need to use, and the one that you have is not compatible. I hope this video was useful to some of you. It does suck that I wasn't able to get the remote start function working, but that's because I can't get the PATS light to stop going crazy. I promise I'll get a part 2 video out once I figure out how to program it correctly. So next time something breaks, I'll be back with another video.